my wonderful crochet friends. My name is Ashley, and today's tutorial we will be learning how to make my new crochet stitch called the Shell Lattice Picot Stitch. And I want to give you all a closer look at this beautiful stitch here. Look how nice that is. So we got it's kind of like a fan, kind of like a shell. So we got our double crochet, chain one, double crochet, picot, chain one, double crochet, and here we have our shell with our picots stacked on top of our single crochet V stitches. So what we are doing is we are alternating from the single crochet V stitch here and then jumping right over and then stacking this shell with the picot and then coming over and adding in our single crochet V-stitch on top of our picot. And this is reversible. So this is actually the inside. The inside of our work will have our little picots, and our right side will look like this. So while we're working in the round, our right side will look like this. So we are making that V-stitch right there in the front of that picot, which pops that picot out. And then when you're finished, just turn it inside out and wear it just like this. So this is the stitch that we're going to learn today. And I also created this cowl, and I will give you the instructions and the multiple and the stitch count for this cowl. Hi, my wonderful crochet friends. My name is Ashley. Thank you for joining me today. Today's tutorial, we will be learning how to make this really pretty cowl. This is a lattice shell picot cowl. And I wanted to give you all a really good look at this pattern. So it has the picots stacked on top of the shells. Let's see if we can see that. There we go. So if you look closely, we have right here, we have single crochet V-stitch with the shell, the double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, double crochet. And on top of those double crochet shells, we have picots. This is a really, really pretty lacy lattice stitch. And if you look here, you can see the picots going down at an angle here. See if the light will get that better for you. And I used an entire roll of yarn for this, which it was a small roll. I used, and this yarn here, this is Lion Brand Wool Ease Recycled. And it's kind of a small skein, so it doesn't have a whole lot of yardage in it. It has 196 yards. And I used the entire skein to make this cowl. It's a little bit bigger than a neck warmer. So if you would like to make this to where it kind of hangs from the neck a little bit more, then I would definitely get 2 rolls of this. This yarn is considered a medium 4-weight yarn with 196 yards. So just think if you want it to be, you know, hanging off the neck quite a bit, then if you're going to use a medium 4-weight yarn, I would definitely get something with a little bit more yardage. Or if you want to go with this yarn here, this is a very nice yarn, by the way. I really like this yarn. It's got really nice stretch and bounce to it. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh yeah, and then look, we got the top here. At the top, I thought leaving the picot edge here, I thought that looked really nice. But you could always just connect, maybe right there at the top of the shells and connect over with some chains on each shell or the picots if you would like a more straighter edge like the bottom here. But yeah, I really like this yarn. I thought it was a really good choice, for this cowl here. So let's go ahead and measure this. That way you know how wide and how tall it'll be. So the width here is, looks like it is right at 11.5 inches. And then tall wise from your collarbone up, let's go at the top of that picot there. Let's see, we are right at 8 inches. So 8 inches tall, 11.5 inches wide. So for this, for this cowl right here, I used a 5mm crochet hook. But for this tutorial, I'm going to go up a hook size. That way you can see the stitches a whole lot better in the video. So for this tutorial, I'm going to use a J10 6mm crochet hook for this tutorial. I'm going to use the same yarn, this Lion Brand Wool Ease Recycled. And again, it's a number 4 weight yarn. So we will use the J10 6mm hook, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle just to weave in my ends. And for this tutorial, I will be using the same yarn. It is the same Lion Brand Wool Ease, and this is in the color Red Rouge. So 1135 Red Rouge. And I thought that this would be easier to see in the video instead of that really dark navy blue. That dark navy blue would be harder to see on camera. In this yarn, it does recommend that we use the J10 6mm crochet hook. So we're definitely on the right track here. So for this tutorial, we will be using chains, we will also be using slip stitch, single crochet, and double crochet. For this pattern, our multiple will be 8. So we will continue to make 8 chains over and over until we reach the length that we need for our cowl. For my cowl, I have 168 chains or 168 foundational single crochets. We will begin with a slip knot. I am going to chain a smaller little swatch to show you the stitch pattern. So you will need to chain 168 chains, and I will chain a smaller amount of a multiple of 8. Now we will follow along the front of our chain. We're going to go all the way to the very first chain that we began with. And in this very first chain here, I'm just going to reposition my hand to form a ring. So I'm looking at the front of my chain here. I need to slip stitch into that top back loop. So I'm going to go right in and under that loop there. Going to slip stitch join, and if you made your foundational single crochets, then you will not have to make this row. But if you made just regular chains like I did, we will need to chain one for a single crochet. And I'm going to go into the back bump of my chain. So I'm going to find the back bump of my same chain I slip stitch joined into. There's my back bump. I'm going to yarn over and pull through and complete a single crochet. And I'm going to go into the back bump of each chain and repeat. So one single crochet in each chain all the way around. And we need a multiple of 8. So multiple of 8 chains. And I apologize for any noise in the background. We have construction going on right next door. So continue making one single crochet in each chain all the way around. I will meet you back at the end for my last single crochet. I'm at the end of row 1 here. I'm going to slip stitch join in the first single crochet chain. And if you look, right here is my slip knot where I made my slip stitch join. Right here's my chain 1. And then right here is my single crochet chain. So I will skip over that chain 1. And then I will slip stitch join into that first single crochet. And of course, just make sure that all your chains add up to a multiple of 8. For our next row, we will chain 2 to build up the height for a double crochet. So in this same chain here, we are going to make our first shell with our picot on the top of the shell. So we will wrap the yarn around our hook once, go into that same chain, yarn over, and pull through and up 3 loops on our hook. Going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have 1 double crochet. We will chain 1, and we will make another double crochet in that same chain. Now we will build up our picot. We need to chain 3. And I will pinch right here on my loop, and I will drop down, and I'm going to go into that front loop of the chain and then this loop of the double crochet. So I'm just going to pop through both loops there. Now we'll yarn over and pull through and slip stitch. And I want to keep this slip stitch loose. We do not want to tighten it up. Next step, chain 1. And we will make another double crochet in that same chain there. So I will wrap the yarn around my hook, drop down into that chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Our next step will be, we will skip 3 chains, and in that 4th chain, we will make a single crochet V-stitch. So we will make 1 single crochet, chain 3, and in that same chain here, we will make 1 single crochet. And this is our main pattern for the rest of our cowl. So we'll have this shell with a picot on top. We will skip 3 chains, and that 4th chain make that single crochet V-stitch. And we will repeat. We will skip 3 chains, and in that 4th chain, we will make a shell picot. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 3, and then we will slip stitch into that front loop and then this loop on the bar of the double crochet. Chain 1, and the same chain there, double crochet. Skip 3 chains, and the 4th chain, single crochet V-stitch. Skip 3 chains, and the 4th chain, shell picot. Go ahead and repeat your pattern all the way around your cowl, and I will meet you back at the end. I'm at the end of row 2, and I just finished a single crochet V-stitch. We will have 3 chains left. We will skip over those chains and we will slip stitch into that 3rd chain, which is our chain for our first double crochet. And we will slip stitch join. I'm just going to tighten that down a little bit. Now what we will do, we are repeating the same pattern, but we're beginning a different set. On the first row, our 2nd row here, we began with the double crochet shell with the picot, and then we skipped 3 and we made our single crochet V-stitch here. So now we will begin with our single crochet V-stitch on top of this picot. We will chain 1, and we are going to go into the front 2 loops of our picot. And this is why I did not tighten down that slip stitch when I made the picot. That way we can fit our hook right in the middle through those first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through, make a single crochet, chain 3, and I'm going to go back into those same 2 loops there and make another single crochet. In this single crochet V-stitch, we will make that shell with the picot. So I'm going to go inside that chain 3 space and make a double crochet. Chain 1, go back into that same chain 3 space and make another double crochet. Now we will make our picot, so chain 3. I'm going to go into those 2 loops right there of that double crochet and slip stitch. And we will not tighten down that slip stitch. We need that slip stitch loose. So we will chain 1, go back into that same chain 3 space and double crochet. And as we build this up, the inside of our work will actually be our right side. Technically, you could wear this cowl, it's reversible. You can wear it this side out with the picots on the inside, or you can flip it out and have the picots on the outside. And I will show you in just a moment. Right here, you will see the picots are on the outside here, but you can flip this inside out and wear it this way as well. So on the inside of this cowl, you'll just see this chain mesh pattern here. So you can see the V stitches, you can see the shells, but you won't see the picots. Or you flip it out and wear it with the picots on the outside. Whichever way you want to wear it. We just finished our shell with our picot. And here we are back at this shell with the picot. So we need to make a V-stitch on top of this picot. And we're going to make it on the front, these 2 loops right here. So I'm just going to go straight through, just like that, single crochet, chain 3. I'm going to go back through those same 2 loops of that picot and single crochet, and there's our single crochet V-stitch. And then we jump over here and make that double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 3 picot, chain 1, double crochet. And that is it. That is our pattern. And here's that picot. So I'm just going to go, see those 2 loops, they stick out. If you look closely at that picot, those 2 loops, it sticks right out for you to go right into. So it won't be hard to find those 2 loops. I know this red color is awfully dark and it's awfully bright, but when you're crocheting it in front of you, those 2 loops are right there. You won't be able to miss them. Just pop it right through. And then we'll make that single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So go ahead and finish row 3, and I will meet you back at the end of this row, and I will show you the next step. So at the end of row 3, you will end on the shell with the picot. And we began row 3 with the single crochet V-stitch. So if you look here, you'll see your chain 1 here, and then you'll see your single crochet chain. So we're just going to slip stitch right into that first single crochet. And now we will repeat row 2. So we will chain 2 to prepare for our shell with the picot, but we will make our shell inside this V-stitch. So we will just yarn over for a double crochet. We have our chain 2. We're going to just go right into in and around that chain 3 V-stitch. We'll make that double crochet, chain 1, back into that same chain 3 space, and make that double crochet, and now the picot. Chain 1, and that same chain 3 space, make the double crochet. And then we'll jump right over here, and here's our picot. So we'll just go into those 2 loops right there of that picot and make our single crochet V-stitch. And then here's our single crochet V-stitch, and we will make that shell picot. And that is it. That is our pattern. It is an easy 2-row repeat. And that's all we keep doing until we reach the height that we want for our cowl. Very easy pattern. So go ahead and finish up your, let's see, we're on 1, 2, 3, we're on row 4. So go ahead and finish row 4 and I will meet you back at the end. So I'm at the end of row 4 here, and I ended my last stitches that single crochet V-stitch. And here's my chain 2, 1, 2, and then that third top chain there, which is my first double crochet chain, I will slip stitch join. You can yarn under or yarn over for your slip stitch join. And now we will repeat the row that we did before. So here we have our shell with picot. So that means we need to make a V-stitch on this picot. So we will chain 1, and we're just going to go right into that picot, those 2 loops there, and make our single crochet, chain 3, go back into those same 2 loops, and single crochet. And then here we need to place our shell picot in and around that chain 3 space of that V-stitch. And then here's our picot. We need to make our single crochet V-stitch on top of, or in the front of that picot. We're just repeating. Just wanted to give you all a better look at the pattern here. And then when you flip it inside out, so go ahead and finish up your pattern. If you would like to make the cowl the same height that I made my cowl, which is 8 inches tall, so from row 1 all the way up for 8 inches tall, you will repeat your 2-row repeat until you complete row 16. And row 16 you will end here. So this is what it will look like at the top of your cowl, and you'll see your nice little picots, or if you want it to look like on the other side as your front, however you would like. But that's all you have to do. Repeat those 2 rows till you complete row 16, and you have one very beautiful lattice picot cowl. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this pattern that I made for you all. And if you all want to leave a comment with some good feedback, that would be great. Likes always help, and sharing always helps as well. Subscribe, hit that bell if you haven't gotten a chance to. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all really soon with another great pattern. Thank you all.